They buried it under one of the most visited places on Earth, and it worked for 5 centuries. Between 2023 and 2025, 3 completely independent scientific teams, using DNA analysis, laser drones, and satellite geology, all arrived at the same impossible conclusion about what lies beneath Machu Picchu. And the moment their findings went public, the Peruvian government approved a project that had been frozen for 15 years, suddenly fast-tracked, suddenly urgent, as if someone needed the ground covered before anyone could dig any deeper. Join us, and let's discover what was hidden beneath Machu Picchu for centuries. Let's go.
Number 13. Huayna Picchu. Most people think Machu Picchu is the mountain. It isn't. The vertical spike of jungle and rock rising behind every photograph, that iconic peak stabbing into the clouds, is a completely separate mountain called Huayna Picchu, and it hides something the postcards never show. To reach the top, you climb staircases carved directly into near-vertical cliff faces, steps so narrow your heels hang off the edge over open air. A single rope bolted to the rock is the only thing between you and a 1,000-foot drop. At the summit, tucked inside the mountain itself, is a chamber, a room carved into the core of the peak, dark, cold, sealed on 3 sides, open only to the sky directly above. Archaeologists call it the Temple of the Moon. The name sounds poetic. The reality is stranger. The chamber sits inside a natural cave, completely invisible from below, and inside it, the Incas built elaborate niches, platforms, and carved walls with the same obsessive precision used in the temples down below. Nobody lived up there. The altitude makes it nearly uninhabitable, but somebody climbed that death-trap staircase again and again, carrying cut stone, carrying tools, carrying materials, to build something perfect inside a cave that almost no one would ever reach. The question archaeologists still cannot answer is brutally simple. What were they doing up there? And why did it need to be that high?
Number 12. Hiram Bingham. In 1911, a Yale historian named Hiram Bingham was guided up a jungle ridge by a local Peruvian farmer. What he found made global headlines within 2 years. What he did with it took a century to fix. Bingham removed over 4,000 artifacts from Machu Picchu, ceramics, tools, textiles, and human bones, and shipped them to Yale University in the United States. Peru demanded them back for decades. Yale refused. The legal standoff lasted until 2012. But here is the detail that changes everything. The bones Bingham took in 1912 are the exact same remains that, 110 years later, blew the official story of Machu Picchu completely apart. When bioarchaeologist Dr. Lucy Salazar finally ran DNA analysis on those 34 skeletons, what came back from the lab made her call a colleague at 2 in the morning. The genetic profiles didn't match Andean highland populations at all. Coastal people, northern people, Amazonian people, all buried inside the same mountain citadel, placed with deliberate care in specific locations across several centuries. This wasn't a royal resort. Something else was operating here, something organized, intentional, and running at a scale of human movement no existing theory had ever accounted for. The bones Bingham stole told a story. It just took a century for anyone to listen. And what that story reveals about the people brought to Machu Picchu, where they came from, how they got there, whether they had a choice, is darker than anything written in any history book.
Only 1% of people know the dark truth behind what we are about to show you next. If you want to be part of the few who actually know what's happening in the world, subscribe and leave a like right now. Done? Look at this.
Number 11. Lacta Pata. Nobody was looking for it. That's the part that keeps archaeologists up at night. In 2024, a LiDAR survey targeting the jungle slopes directly below Machu Picchu returned something that stopped the research team cold. Hidden beneath the dense canopy, invisible to the naked eye for 500 years, sat a major Inca settlement. Terraces, buildings, plazas, ceremonial platforms, all perfectly preserved under the vegetation. Lacta Pata, a city hiding in the shadow of the most studied archaeological site on Earth. Researchers had known a small outpost existed in that area since the early 1900s, but the LiDAR data revealed the real scale, a site far larger than anyone had mapped, with architectural complexity suggesting it wasn't a satellite camp, it was a functioning node, a way station, a control point, or something more significant, positioned at the exact elevation where the jungle transitions into the high Andean slopes leading up to the citadel. The question the discovery forces is almost uncomfortable to ask. If Lac Pata, sitting directly below the most visited archaeological site in South America, was this dramatically underestimated for over a century, what does that say about every other assumption made about the region? The LiDAR also found 12 completely unknown structures in nearby restricted government zones, buildings never recorded, never mapped, sitting in areas where researchers had no access. Lac Pata was hiding in plain sight. The other 12 weren't even on the map.
Number 10. Inca Trail. Picture the route. You start in the Amazon. The air is thick, wet, almost impossible to breathe through the heat. The jungle is so dense, the sky disappears entirely. Then you begin to climb. You leave the lowland trees and hit cloud forest. Trails barely 1 foot wide, carved directly into cliff faces, with nothing below you but 1,000 feet of open air. The temperature drops 40 degrees in a single day. Oxygen thins, your lungs begin to seize. The terrain shifts from mud to loose rock to ice. Even today, with modern gear, GPS, and altitude medication, experienced trekkers die on these routes. The Inca Trail, the ancient road network cutting through the Andes toward Machu Picchu, is one of the most physically brutal paths on Earth. And yet, 500 years ago, 6 women from the Amazon rainforest made this crossing. The isotope data locked inside their bones proves it. Their chemical fingerprints show a lifetime in tropical lowlands, then a sudden, permanent arrival at 8,000 feet. They didn't migrate gradually, they were placed there. One discovery hit Dr. Salazar harder than all the others combined. A mother and daughter buried together inside the citadel. The isotopes revealed they hadn't grown up in the same place. Different soil, different water, different food, different lives. Separated by hundreds of miles during childhood, reunited only here, at the end, inside a fortress in the clouds that neither of them had been born anywhere near. Someone moved them. Someone with enough power to treat human beings like objects on a map. The question that follows is the darkest one of all. Were they guests or were they cargo?
Number 9. Pachacutec. Every theory about Machu Picchu eventually circles back to one man, Pachacutec, emperor, conqueror, the Inca ruler who transformed a small highland kingdom into the largest empire in pre-Columbian history. 2,500 miles of coastline, mountain, and jungle under a single system of roads, soldiers, and stone. His name translates to "He who transforms the earth." That wasn't a title, that was a job description. Under his reign, the Inca Empire expanded faster than almost any other civilization in recorded history. In less than 50 years, he absorbed dozens of cultures, ethnicities, and languages into one imperial machine. Machu Picchu, built around 1450 at his direct order, was always assumed to be his personal legacy, a mountain retreat, a monument to power, a private kingdom above the clouds. The DNA evidence destroyed that story. The people buried inside Machu Picchu weren't a homogeneous royal court. They were a deliberately assembled collection of individuals gathered from across an entire continent. Coastal, Amazonian, Northern, Highland, brought together by design. That requires intelligence networks. That requires infrastructure. That requires coercion at a scale historians have never fully credited the Incas with operating. And it forces a question nobody in mainstream archaeology has answered directly. If Machu Picchu was just a royal resort, why did Pachacutec need Amazonian women buried inside its walls? What role did they play? And what was he actually building up there on that mountain?
Number 8. Huinay Huayna. Most people have never heard of it. That's exactly the problem. 45 minutes down the Inca Trail from Machu Picchu, clinging to a near vertical cliff face above the Urubamba River, sits one of the most spectacular archaeological sites in South America. Huinay Huayna, which translates to forever young, was not discovered until 1941, 30 years after Machu Picchu was already world famous. A complex of temples, ritual fountains, and agricultural terraces cascading down a jungle slope, built with the same precision as the main citadel. Almost nobody visits it. Only trekkers finishing the full Inca Trail even pass by it. But Huinay Huayna isn't just a beautiful ruin, it's a warning. If a site this large, this complex, and this precisely engineered sat completely unknown for 30 years after Machu Picchu became globally famous, how many others are still out there? The LiDAR surveys of 2024 answered that with uncomfortable specificity. Scanning the jungle around the main citadel, the laser data revealed 12 separate structures hidden under vegetation. Buildings never recorded, never mapped, sitting inside government-restricted zones where researchers had no access for years. Huinay Huayna took 3 decades to find with human eyes. These 12 structures were invisible until a laser stripped the jungle away. The Inca Trail corridor is hundreds of miles long. LiDAR has covered a fraction of it. If 12 buildings appeared in weeks of scanning, what is hiding in the parts nobody has looked at yet?
In 1533, Spanish soldiers entered the most sacred building in the Inca Empire and tore it apart with their bare hands. The Coricancha, the Temple of the Sun in Cusco, had walls lined with 700 solid gold panels. Its courtyard contained life-size gold statues of animals, plants, and human figures. The ceiling was plated. The floors were plated. Even the drainage pipes running beneath the building were cast in gold. The Spanish melted every piece. Then they built a Catholic church directly on top of the Inca foundation. That church still stands today, and here is the detail that tells you everything about what was lost. Through centuries of Andean earthquakes, the colonial walls above have cracked, shifted, and been rebuilt multiple times. The Inca stonework beneath? Not 1 millimeter of movement. The Coricancha was never just a temple. It was the astronomical and spiritual center of the entire Inca world, the origin point of a network of sacred lines called saques that radiated outward across the empire, connecting hundreds of holy sites across thousands of miles. Machu Picchu was one node in that network. The solar alignments, the geometric precision, the Intihuatana stone at its peak, none of it was isolated. It was all part of a single empire-wide system of astronomical and geographic knowledge that the Spanish didn't just destroy. They buried it under concrete and called it a church. What remains at Machu Picchu may be the only piece of that system still standing intact.
Number 6. Temple of the Sun of Machu Picchu. At first glance, it looks like a curved stone wall. Smooth, elegant, slightly underwhelming from a distance. Bring a calendar and come back on June 21st. The Temple of the Sun at Machu Picchu is engineered around a single trapezoidal window cut into its curved granite wall. On the morning of the winter solstice, the most important day in the Inca astronomical calendar, the rising sun passes through that window and strikes a specific stone altar at a precise angle. Not approximately, not close enough, exactly. The alignment is accurate to within minutes of arc, meaning the Incas calculated the Earth's axial tilt, the sun's declination on the horizon, and the precise geometry of the surrounding peaks at 8,000 feet, and then cut stone to match the result. Every year, without adjustment, without correction, the light hits the same spot. A 500-year-old solar instrument, still running on schedule. But the temple conceals something else. Directly beneath it, carved into the granite bedrock of the mountain itself, is a natural cave. The Incas sealed it, lined it with cut stone, and built the temple directly over the opening. Some archaeologists believe it served as a royal mausoleum, a burial chamber for Pachacutec himself. His mummy has never been found.
not by the Spanish, not by Bingham, not by any excavation since. And if the most powerful man in pre-Columbian South America is buried somewhere, the most protected hiding place in the entire empire is directly beneath the building designed to track the movement of the sun, in the one place nobody thought to look, underground.
Number 5. Intihuatana. At the highest accessible point of Machu Picchu, a carved granite stone juts from the bedrock like a fist. The Incas called it the Intihuatana, the place where the sun is tied. For generations, researchers treated that name as poetry. Then someone measured it with GPS. The Intihuatana is aligned with true geographic north to within 3 degrees. Not magnetic north, which drifts and shifts across decades, but true north, fixed north. The north locked to the Earth's rotational axis, permanent and unchanging. Identifying it requires understanding the planet's geology at a level that, according to mainstream history, the Incas were not supposed to possess. Then the measurements went further. The stone functions as a solar calendar, marking solstices and equinoxes with a precision of roughly 15 minutes, year after year, without a single adjustment or recalibration. That level of accuracy is comparable to what engineers use today to calculate the orbital trajectories of satellites. Hand-carved, from raw granite, in the 15th century, at 8,000 feet, by a civilization that, according to the traditional narrative, had no telescopes, no written mathematics, and no advanced measuring instruments. Stack that against everything else. A city placed on a geologically perfect seismic intersection, identified without satellites. An underground drainage system still functioning after 500 years. 12 hidden buildings inside restricted government zones. People transported from across a continent and buried with surgical precision. This isn't a collection of coincidences. Something was known here, something systematic, something ancient, that we are only beginning to measure the edges of.
Number 4. Sacred Valley. 30 miles below Machu Picchu, the Urubamba River cuts a wide, flat valley between the Andean peaks. The Incas called it the Sacred Valley, and they meant it in the most literal sense possible. This was never farmland with a spiritual nickname. It was the logistical and ceremonial backbone of the entire empire. The valley floor is lined with extraordinary sights. Ollantaytambo, a fortress built with stones so massive that engineers today cannot fully explain how they were transported from the quarry across the river and up the slope. Pisac, a mountaintop citadel with agricultural terraces visible from miles in every direction. Moray, a series of circular terrace depressions functioning as an agricultural laboratory, engineering distinct microclimates to test how different crops respond to controlled temperature variations. Each site is extraordinary alone. Together, they form a corridor, a network of engineered landscapes connecting the Inca capital of Cusco to Machu Picchu along a route that was never accidental. Recent LiDAR surveys along the valley have already revealed clusters of previously unknown structures buried beneath farmland and vegetation. The same technology that exposed 12 hidden buildings around Machu Picchu, now finding more below. The pattern is impossible to ignore. The Sacred Valley was never a collection of isolated monuments. It was a single, unified system, a designed landscape stretching dozens of miles, operating at a scale that dwarfs anything the official record has ever described. And the fast-tracked airport now under construction sits directly in the middle of it.
Number 3. Intipunku. You don't see Machu Picchu until the last possible second. The Inca Trail approaches the citadel from the south, through 4 days of jungle and cloud forest, before arriving at a narrow stone gateway cut into a mountain ridge. Walk through it and stop. Below you, perfectly framed, is the entire city. Huayna Picchu rising behind it. The Urubamba River thousands of feet below. The whole thing laid out like it was designed to be seen from exactly this point. Because it was. This is the Intipunku, the Sun Gate, and it is not just an entrance. On the morning of the summer solstice, the central event in the Inca calendar, the rising sun aligns precisely with the gate's opening, sending a shaft of light down the trail
and directly into the heart of the citadel. The Incas engineered a sunrise you could walk through. But the Sun Gate also marks something archaeologists have been quietly noting for years, and the DNA evidence now makes impossible to ignore. It's a control point, a bottleneck, the only official entrance on the southern approach, easily defended, easily sealed. Given what the genetic data revealed about the deliberate, controlled movement of people from the Amazon, the coast, and the north into this site across several centuries, the Sun Gate stops looking like a scenic entrance. It starts looking like a checkpoint, a place where the question wasn't welcome, it was permitted. And behind that permission system, behind whoever was deciding who entered and who didn't, sits the darkest question the science has yet to answer.
Number 2. Pachacamac. 200 miles west of Machu Picchu, on a barren coastal desert where almost nothing grows, sits a city that predates the Inca Empire by over 1,000 years, Pachacamac. A sacred site so powerful that when the Incas conquered the Peruvian coast, they didn't destroy it, they incorporated it, built their own temples on top of the existing ones, added new structures, and made it an official pilgrimage center connected to the entire empire. At its peak, Pachacamac held one of the most feared oracles in South America. People traveled weeks to consult it. Its pronouncements could start wars or end them. The Spanish knew about it. Pizarro sent his brother Hernando to loot it in 1533, but by the time he arrived, the priests had hidden everything. The gold was never found. Here is what now connects Pachacamac to Machu Picchu in a way that's only recently been mapped: the Seke system. The network of sacred lines radiating from the Coricancha in Cusco extended to both sites, a geometric web of astronomical and spiritual connections linking the coast, the mountains, and the jungle in a single unified system. And the DNA evidence from Machu Picchu found coastal genetic markers among the buried population, people from the exact region of Pachacamac, deliberately placed inside a mountain citadel 200 miles away. These two sites were not independent, they were nodes in the same network. What that network was actually built to transmit, what knowledge, what power, what information moved between them, is the most disturbing unanswered question in Andean archaeology.
Number 1. Tiwanaku. Before the Incas, before Pachacutec, before Machu Picchu existed as anything but bare mountain rock, there was Tiwanaku, a civilization that flourished on the Bolivian Altiplano for over 500 years before the Inca Empire even began. At nearly 13,000 feet above sea level, higher than almost any city on Earth today, the people of Tiwanaku built monumental stone structures with a precision that archaeologists still cannot fully explain. The Gateway of the Sun, a single block of andesite stone weighing 10 tons, carved with astronomical symbols and a central deity figure, cut so precisely that its joints are invisible to the naked eye. The Pumapunku complex, 8 stone blocks weighing up to 800 tons, fitted together with tolerances measured in fractions of a millimeter, at nearly 4 miles above sea level, without metal tools, without the wheel. The Incas knew about Tiwanaku. They didn't dismiss it, they absorbed it. They incorporated Tiwanaku cosmology, symbolism, and architectural knowledge directly into their own imperial identity. The solar alignments at Machu Picchu, the astronomical precision of the Intihuatana, the geometric logic of the Seke system, none of it originated with the Incas. They inherited it. Which means everything science has found buried beneath Machu Picchu, the seismic precision, the underground engineering, the astronomical accuracy, may not be the achievement of a 15th century empire at all. It may be the echo of something far older, something that was already ancient when Pachacutec laid the first stone. And if that's true, then we haven't even started asking the right questions yet.
If you thought this was terrifying, you are not ready for what they found in the video on your screen. Click it right now. The truth is worse than you think.